Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits Motorcast. This Heroes Day, we're live on air. The head of the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock Association, Dan Manesis. How you doing today, Dan?
Dan Manesis is doing just fine, thanks.
Okay, so Dan, first question I got for you: When did you first get involved in drag racing? How did it all begin for you?
I started in the real late '60s. I had a little Ford Falcon with a truck six in it. It probably went about 14 or 15 seconds. And the first place I raced was at Lake Geneva with flags before the Christmas tree.
Well, Lake Geneva. What was the track called, Lake Geneva?
There used to be a circle track and a small drag strip above it. It was on the south side of town, and it was just basically 2 lanes and a guy with a flag to get you going.
Wow. Man, you guys were doing some flag racing at Great Lakes last Saturday.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, actually. We had problems there with the timing lights, and my thought was we wanted to keep the folks that were there attending the race occupied and interested, so some of us suggested flag racing, and it worked out great.
Yeah, you guys decided to keep it going even when they got the lights fixed. You guys decided to keep it going with the hand drop.
Yeah, the thing with something like that is that it's something different for the fans, and it's something that most people, especially younger people, have never seen. And I think it was interesting. It also gave me a good chance to have a better reaction time than Tyler, one of the fellows I raced against. He's great at the light, and I'm not so great, but I was good at the flag.
Oh yeah, the last round with you and Tyler, he tried to outdo you on the burnout there.
Oh yeah, it was close, and I stayed in it. And Tyler's a fantastic racer. We've got 3 young people. We got Tyler, Hannah, and Kelly, and they're the core of our team because they attract young people to the sport.
Right. Then you guys are running this Saturday with the Night of Fire. How many cars you got running this Saturday?
We should have 10. I think there's one fellow that can't make it. I believe we're going to have 10 cars. Last week we had 11.
So will Arlie be running this Saturday?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Will Arlie be running this Saturday?
Yeah, I believe Arlie is going to race. He was off last weekend. I think he had some other obligation, but he should be with us this coming Saturday.
That's good. What about John Silos?
I don't know that his car is done. I know he's been working real hard at it, but he's not told me that he's got his car ready enough to race yet.
Yeah, okay. So now, Dan, after Lake Geneva, what'd you start racing after that?
I raced at Lake Geneva for a summer, and then I went on to school, and I moved to Chicago and New York, and I didn't do any racing. I came back to racing probably in about 1980. I had a Chevelle that I bracket raced.
What year?
And then I had a couple of, and this was at Union Grove. I had a couple of Ron Folk Corvettes, and then I went. After that, I started in competition eliminator for NHRA divisional racing.
So now the Chevelle you ran, what year was the Chevelle?
66.
And the other cars?
The Corvettes were probably late 70s, early 80s. They were replica cars because they were a full tube chassis, and I got a little bit more experience with going a little faster. I think the first one I had probably ran in the 9s, and the second one I had ran about 8 flat.
So now, what year did you start the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock Association?
I believe this is our 4th season. I used to race with a different group, and I wanted to, couple of things I wanted to do different. I wanted to try to stay as much as I could at the Grove because I work lots and lots of hours. And the other thing I wanted to do is emphasize bringing kids to the sport. And I started with Kelly, and we shortly added Hannah, and then after that we added Tyler, Tyler and his family have been so helpful to my racing.
Oh, yeah, the Chinook family.
Yes, wonderful folks.
Yeah, you got his dad's in the Chicago Wise guys.
Yep, and his dad takes care of my car and Kelly's car. and he's one of the wise guys. And like I say, Chris Shenick and Eric Fleming, who helps him, and Tyler have been invaluable. They've given me so much help. We put a new engine in my car this year, and they did all the work on it over the winter.
And of course, Chris was the 2017 Wise Guys champion.
Yes, he was. He won by half a point. He's a very, very good racer. Chris is a professional racer, and I have a lot, even though he's a lot younger than me, I have a lot to learn from him.
It was nice to see that he got that car fixed for the last week for the Nitro Streetcar Brawl.
Yeah, and I believe he's going to have it. I think he'll have it painted up by this Saturday, I'm hoping.
So now, for people out there listening, there is another Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock Association, but this is a different one.
Yeah, there's a different group that they have a different set of cars and they do different races. And in fact, there's probably in the Midwest, 3 or 4 different groups, and they all have their different members and they all have their different goals. And I think there's room in the sport for all of us.
Right. So now the car you're currently driving, how long you been driving that Pro Stock?
I've had this. This should be, I believe, the 3rd season, and I raced. Originally, I drove the Pinto, and the kids would come up to the car and they'd see an old guy with gray hair get out that looked like Jerry Garcia, and they were disappointed. And then I was happy enough to meet Kelly and her dad Bob, and she began driving that car, and I bought the Colt, and I started driving that. I believe this is the 3rd or 4th year I've had the Colt.
Yeah, after the races that's Nitro Streetcar Brawl, watching how you put Kelly's car up on top of the inside the trailer, that was pretty neat.
Yeah, both of the cars fit on top, and then the golf carts fit on the bottom, and we can keep everything together.
Yeah, it's a pretty big trailer.
Oh, yeah, it's a big trailer and a car hauler, and I receive a lot of help from Bob Dill, Kelly's dad. He loads the stuff and unloads it, and Kelly helps. And once again, without everybody's help, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Right. So now, for this year, how many events you guys got for the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock?
I think we have 11 or 12.
And most of them are at Great Lakes Dragway, right?
Yeah, most of them are at Great Lakes. I think there's one in Takana. There's one down at Byron. But most of the folks that race with me, they have a lot of work commitments, and they're happy just like I'm happy to race at the Grove. I have a long-term relationship with the people that own the Grove. They're my friends, and we try to help out as much as we can.
Right, and you're also a sponsor at Great Lakes Dragway?
I am.
Now, when you first started drag racing, Dan, who were some of the drivers that were inspirational to you back then?
Jungle Jim Lieberman for sure. I never saw him, but I saw him in magazines. On a local basis, there was a guy called Leroy Roeder that raced a pro stock. He was one of the first guys that got me really interested in it. He let me sit in his car. The Little Red Wagon, which still races. My take back then was to do a lot of racing, and my take now has changed a lot because one of the things I think, and I've been talking about this maybe the last 2 or 3 years, is that we need to bring young people to the sport.
Right.
And young people now, they've got laptops and notebooks and video games, and they're not interested like we were as kids. And my goal is to try to get kids interested, and kids are going to be interested in other kids. And that's why the 3 young people we have really are great for appealing to kids, to the sport. I've got one other young lady that I'm going to try to get on board this summer. She's about 20 years old, and that would give us 4. And that's something real important to me. And yeah, the old days, probably the biggest person was probably Jungle Jim. I remember when John Force started racing, and I remember some of the local favorites.
Right. Now, like, you got Doc Holliday with the Telstar funny car. He's been around for years.
Absolutely. And I remember when Randy, the track owner, used to run a funny car.
Was that the Enterprise car or something like that?
Yep, Starship Enterprise.
Yep,
yes, it was.
Yeah, I remember seeing that car years ago. Now, have you ever ran at Route 66?
Yes, I have. In fact, Bob Merrily, I ran with him, and I ran, I believe, with the other group at Route 66. I think I've been there 2 or 3 times. Beautiful racetrack.
Now, you guys aren't going there this year at all, right?
No, pretty much with us, we stick as close as we can to the Grove. We got our own parking spot. I'm a sponsor of the track, and we have a lot of fun, and we're getting a larger and larger fan following.
Now, you guys doing Byron this year?
Yeah, we're going to have one trip out to Byron and one trip up to Kakana.
Kakana, is that WIR?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So now, when you first started drag racing, what actually got you into drag racing?
Pretty much just an interest in cars and stuff, and I went to the drag races when I was probably 14 as a spectator. In the very old days, Great Lakes Dragaway was Vans Great Lakes. It was owned by the family that owns WIR. And there was a big chariot out in front, a big sign, and it was a hippie with an engine in front of a chariot. And I went and probably watched for a year or two, and then I really got bit by it, and I made my own little car. And like I say, then I moved away. I used to live in Madison. I moved to Chicago and New York, and I couldn't do that there. So when I finally got back to it in about 1980, then I bought my Chevelle, and I came back. Now, there was some time that I took off. I stopped comp racing, I think, in 2000 something, and I went road racing. I went SCCA road racing for about 4 years. But drag racing is really my passion, so I came back to it.
So what year did Broadway Bob come into Great Lakes Dragway?
He was there always as a promoter, and then I think he bought out the folks. I don't really know the exact story, but I believe he bought out the folks, and then they kept WIR. Bob bought it, and then at some point Randy entered the picture, him and Marcel, and then Bob kind of stepped back.
Right.
Bob was a great guy, a great promoter, always kind to me, a very nice man.
So do you got a fondest memory of Broadway Bob, a story you can share with us?
When he used to sit in front of in the front of the jet cars as they were doing their pops.
Yeah, the Doug.
Just sit on the front. Oh my gosh! And I always thought if one of them takes off, he's going to be up in the tree.
Yeah, I remember the Green Mamba, Doug Rose.
Yep. How old are you?
50.
50.
50. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 50. Yeah, you look like you're about 35, so you're in good shape, man.
that's what most of the people tell me. Well, it's an Asian thing, I think. Being Japanese.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm 64. God willing, I'll be 65 in about a week, and I'm having a blast with this. Our little group, we get along well together. We eat together. I have sponsors for my car and Kelly's cars, and we give away T-shirts for free. We give away posters, and now we've got little bubbles and little tattoos for the kids, and that's something that we really chase after. I want to try to get kids involved in the sport. You'll hear me talking about this again and again.
Right. Yeah, kids they're the future of the sports.
Well, they are, and if you look at it, it isn't just local drag racing. If you look at NHRA events, they used to be packed. If you look at NASCAR, they used to be packed, and they aren't anymore.
Right.
You have to connect with kids, and it's real hard because kids have a lot more choices than we had when we were kids.
Oh yeah, we didn't have the cell phones and video games when we were young.
No, we did not.
Yeah, I used to be outside playing every day. Till dinner time, my mom would call me in, then go back out after dinner time till it gets dark, then come back in.
Oh, absolutely. You ride your bike to your friend's house. They weren't play dates. If you went to your friend's house and they were eating dinner, you sat on the porch, the kid came out, and you went and had fun.
Yeah, those were the days.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So, Dan, how many sponsors do you have for the Midwest Nostalgia Pro Stock Association?
My 2 cars have the majority of the sponsors, and I know Arlie has sponsors, and other people's do. My car and the Pinto we've got 5 different people that help us in varying degrees.
Okay, so who are the biggest sponsors for you guys?
Quick Trip gas station sponsors Kelly and I, and then it's Heiser Automotive Group, which is a bunch of dealers up here. Get some help from Redline Oil, and get some help from BP in Sunoco.
Okay. So now, when the car you're currently driving, the Pro Stock you're currently driving, what's been the quickest time you've had with that car?
Mine, I think, is running the 740s and 750, 740, and there's still a little left. Chris Shenick did a wonderful job. Him and Eric Fleming. We got a Sonny's motor over the winter, and it's got more left. And I'm just getting used to the car. And Chris had when he had a little problem with his car, he did a couple of passes in mine so he could keep getting points with the wise guys. And it was great because he got to see my car. And they put in a computer last year, which helps them analyze where we need to go. Kelly's is pretty much the way it's been probably for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
She runs 830s, and Kelly's a fantastic driver. She just is.
Yeah, she does some long, smoky burnouts.
Yep, she's a very good driver, very nice with the fans, very nice to people. Yeah, she's a real nice young lady.
Well, yeah, me and the wife were talking to her for a long time that last time at Great Lakes Dragway. She gave us a couple of T-shirts.
Yep. Yeah, this year, I believe probably by the end of this season, or maybe even sooner, we'll have given away 2,000 T-shirts.
Wow.
And we're glad to give them away. And a lot of folks that come to these races, they can afford the tickets, but they can't afford $25 for a T-shirt. And,
right.
And it really makes us happy to give little boys and girls T-shirts.
Yeah, she was going to try to push the pink shirt on me. I'm like, nah, I'll take the black one.
Yeah, this is the first year that I've actually had T-shirts, too. It was always Kelly. But I've got red T-shirts from DeSantis and Kreider. Now, my car, it was an East Coast match race Pro Stocker that I got his permission to use it. And Kelly's, we got the permission of the famous Bunny Burkett on the East Coast to copy her car.
Oh, yeah, Bunny's a legend.
She is. She's a wonderful lady. Yeah, we went out last year and we raced with her in Maryland, and she's come to a couple of the different races over the years. She's a real nice lady.
Now, this year, do you guys got posters?
Yes, we do. What we did this year is we've got individual handouts from the different drivers. They can sign them and give them to the kids. What we found last year and years before, little kids, they don't roll them up. They fold them up. And then they get full of creases and they get blown away because the poster's as big as the kid. This way here we can hand each young fan a copy of mine, a copy of Kelly's, a copy of Jim Parks. I know the Arleys have them. I think Hannah has them. A lot of the drivers have jumped in with it.
Nice. So now, Dan, you said probably 10 cars this weekend, but total, how many cars do you have for the association?
We probably have a total of 12 or 14. Most everybody comes most every race. So, 10, 11 cars is about who you're going to see. I mean, when John Silos comes in, that'll add one. I've got a little girl in Illinois, and I'm working on her and her dad. They've got a nice Vega. If we can get them going this summer, and I got a couple of other nibbles. We just got the Run Tough Camaro came out with us this year. Nice folks.
Okay, now for you, Dan, when you like say this weekend you got the race coming up, what goes into preparation for you to get ready for a weekend of racing?
What's real nice for me is that I'm in the trucking business, and I work like 80 hours a week. What happens is Bob Dill takes the two cars home, and they'll bring them up, they'll set them up. Chris Shenick make sure that the cars are in good order. What we do is we send out invitations to the different drivers. I've got our year set up in advance with all the different races, and all the drivers bring different kinds of food, and their families come and friends, and we all eat together. So it's pretty much the same every race.
That's nice. So now, would you say Great Lakes Dragway is your favorite track to run on then?
Yes, it is.
What's your second favorite track to run on? What would be your second favorite track to run on?
Byron. What I like about Byron is when you get to the end, the track goes uphill and you can see the end. I've been going to Byron when I was a kid. I used to see the Coca-Cola Cavalcade of Stars and the funny car shows there and stuff. So as a spectator, I went there for a long time, and then I've raced there in years past. Now they're a real busy track, and we're busy as a little group, so that's why we only go once a year to Byron. The owners are real nice folks.
Have you ever ran at Cordova?
Yeah, in fact, I ran with Bob Merrily at Cordova about 2 years ago. He set up a race. It was a great race, and it was for the World Series. I think he was in charge of it, and we probably had 8 cars there, and he did a great job setting it up.
Now, how about US 30 drag strip when they were around? Have you ever ran up there?
As a spectator, I was there as a kid, but I never raced there, nor did I race at the one in southern Chicago. I forgot the name of it. Not US 30. It's the one with the turnstiles. It's been gone for years. But yeah, I never raced at either one of those, but I went as a spectator.
Yeah, same. My dad used to take me when I was a kid, the US 30 and the Great Lakes, both of those tracks.
Okay, yeah. It was a shame with US 30. That was a neat track as a spectator. I guess they kind of wore out their welcome with the jet cars is what the word I always got.
Yeah, I used to love hearing the commercials on radio all the time. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So now this Saturday, you're gonna be about. I hear there's gonna be 12 jet cars there when you guys are there this Saturday. So.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing too, and it's a great race. We went last year with our group. We went, and you get a whole different group of spectators. You get a lot of the regular folks, but a lot of the folks go there that really want to see the jets.
Right.
And we had a great crowd last year, and different folks gave away a lot of T-shirts to the kids and posters.
That's good. Maybe you win over some new fans that are coming to see the jet cars. They see you guys, they like you guys, and you get some new fans that way.
Absolutely, and yeah, I'll go up and the Red Baron go up in the tower and he lets me talk, and I'll invite people back in between the action, bring their kids back for an autograph or posters or T-shirts to the little kids. And last year we probably had a line 60 deep.
Nice.
Waiting for T-shirts, and it was great. It was all little dinky kids, and it was something new for them. And it's, once again, I have great cooperation. The Grove is my home track, and Randy and Marcel and Claire, they're my friends.
Right, they're great people. Now, do you sit the kids in the seat of the car?
Oh, sure. A lot of times the kids ask to sit in them, and Kelly puts them in, or Bob will put them in my car. A lot of the kids want to take pictures with Kelly. Me, not so much. But Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, not the old man. I want the girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now, have you ever run 8th Mile?
I ran 8th Mile at Bunker Hill. Yeah, with the other group. I ran 8th Mile a couple, 3 years in a row, and it was okay. It's different, but it was okay.
Yeah, some people say they like it because it saves on wear and tear on your car. You shut it off. You don't have to do as much wear and tear driving a quarter mile.
Yeah, Bunker Hill, the cars are real close to each other, side by side. And Bunker Hill, I believe, used to be a quarter-mile track, so there's a long shutdown. I'm a quarter-mile guy. I mean, my favorite things are the burnouts and the parachutes and going fast. So to me, quarter-mile is surely my favorite.
Right. So now, as far as your safety equipment, where do you get all your fire suit and all that stuff from?
Most all of our suits and stuff are from Simpson or Sparkle, and Kelly and we wear Han safety devices. We recommend that to other people in the group. We're real safety conscious. This is a dangerous sport, and you want to make sure that you're prepared. If you have a problem, you want to make sure that you're prepared.
Right. So now, have you ever had any accidents or near accidents in your racing career?
In the mid-'90s, I had a Chevy Lumina that I bought from Tom Martino. I put it on the roof in Houston.
Ah, not good.
Oh, yeah. Some guy had antifreeze in his car ahead of me, and he sprang a leak, and I didn't see it. Nobody saw it, and I got to about three-quarter track, and the got real quiet because my car was flying. But I was fine. They got me out of it, and it was a Dan Manesis car. Ness had it back to me in 3 weeks.
Wow. So now the car you're currently driving, the Pro Stock, what year is the Pro Stock?
Should be. It's a replica of a 72 Dodge Colt.
70.
And it's a John Holt chassis. My car is the sister car to Bob Merrily.
Right.
And in fact, I wouldn't have known about it unless Bob would have told me. We did a race at Joliet. I think I met Bob there, and he told me about the sister car. I bought the sister car from Elite Motorsports, which is where Erica Andrews is out of.
Oh, okay. Now, with your car, what kind of engine do you have in that car?
I got a big block Chevy, and it's from Sonny's.
And your car, you got clutch or automatic?
Automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah. My clutch days are long gone. When I ran comp, I had either a Lenco or a Liberty for some time, and I'm real happy just getting in and shifting twice.
Right. So now, most of the cars in your group are all automatic, right?
Yeah, other than John Silas, we're all automatics. The young lady I'm trying to get to join our group, she's got a Lenco car. She got a big Lenco car.
Because, on the internet, you hear some people say, a true nostalgia Pro Stock's supposed to have Lenco clutch.
Yeah. Well, and, there's a lot of different schools of thought with that. Sure, in the old days, the cars did have Lencos, or they did have, the later ones had Liberties, but they also didn't have MSD ignitions. They didn't have a lot of the common things now. So if you'd want to have a true Pro Stock, you'd have to go way back and have really none of the safety features, none of the ignition features. And what we try to do is have fun. An automatic is easy to work with. When I ran comp back in the 90s, you were constantly adjusting your clutch or taking your tranny out, and it was a lot of work and not as much fun. I have a lot of fun. You get in the car and you start it up and you go.
Right. That's good.